He was a normal kid, you know, he had fun doing things. He was kind of a goofball sometimes, and he'd like to have fun, just goof around.
Andrew was always really goofy.
He was like my best friend, still basically my best friend.
Quiet for the most part. When he was younger, he liked to ask a lot of questions.
I don't know, he was pretty quiet. He was a little goofy, kind of awkward, but you know, I mean, he was always fun to be around.
The first time I actually got to talk to Andrew was at my overnighter, my first overnighter. He was really excited about the pudding. He ate probably like, okay, the cans were like this big, and so they were pretty large. I'm pretty sure he ate the whole, like half the can by himself. He was just really excited about it, and that was like all he talked about for probably half an hour.
We kick the football around, do things like that, hit the ball around the backyard every once in a while. I used to take him fishing on his birthday every year when he was real young.
Our grandpa, I think he was turning 90 around July 4th. So the week before, or 2 weeks before, like Father's Day, my cousin got everyone to get a video together saying happy birthday to Grandpa. So we're all together. Andrew's trying to set up like a phone with the camera on it, and he's like, okay, that's good. And the rest of us behind the camera start singing happy birthday. And Andrew makes some crack about how like we didn't wait for him, and you just hear on the video Andrew going, idiots.
When he was 5 or 6, he went trick-or-treating as a skeleton. And the guy, there was some man that was walking down the street, and you could literally still see his rib cage through his costume. And he said, that's the most appropriate costume I've ever seen on any human being.
One Halloween, I was taking Aiden out trick-or-treating with my mom, and I just see Andrew running out the front door, and he's like, the kitchen's on fire. And he's like, the oven's on fire. I'm like, okay, so did you turn the oven off? No!
He always did this really weird, like creepy meow noise. Cause like I have a lot of cats, so he would come and like pet the cats, and if he wanted the cats to come, he'd be like, meow. And I was like, what is that? That is so creepy.
One year I got him eyebrow wax, because he had this, you know, he had this crazy eyebrows. They're just like everywhere. He kind of opened it secretly, and everyone's like, what'd you get? What'd you get? And he was like, nothing, nothing. And then he finally had to show him. I was cracking him up. So I thought it was hilarious. And he was so embarrassed, and like he looked so pissed off at me. And afterwards, he was like, can you help me use this? So I actually have memories of waxing Andrew's eyebrows.
The blood bank, the one up in Lafayette and the one in Fishers, Indiana, and so when I had to tell him that he had passed, I got a card the next day from the head of the Indiana Blood Bank informing me that Andrew had donated over a gallon of blood within a 3-year span. So.
I don't know, it was just random. Like my mom left for work, and we were all just sitting there eating dinner, and the next thing I know, there's mashed potatoes flying all over the kitchen.
We were on the academic Super Bowl team together, and that was like the nerdiest thing you can do in high school. Like, we were like the alpha nerds, because we would compete in like the big like academic competitions where they'd have the multiple choice questions. It was just like, what? Basically, it was the mathletes. So we had no social lives. It was really pathetic, but we competed in that, and it was, oh my gosh, it was so fun. We were pretty good.
Because I worked with him at Plato's, I found out he liked the taste of the envelope on the glue on envelopes. And I work in a retail store, so every night we have to put cash away, we put it in an envelope and seal it. So every time, you know, I think of Andrew and how he liked the taste of glue.
He had illegally downloaded the movie Django Unchained, and I watched that probably 3 different times with him, and it was always just funny to see how he reacted to like them dropping the N-bombs with different people.
Freshman year, he told me that he was going to be valedictorian, and that's what his goal was. And he participated in everything: track for 4 years, tennis for 3, soccer for 1, was in the play for all 4 years, a musical. was in choir his senior year. He forgot, he had a solo line and he forgot during the concert, he forgot his line. So with his valedictorian speech, he sang the line.
And he gave the greatest hugs, you know. Those were one of my best memories, is just after he'd come home from Purdue or home from anywhere and I haven't seen him in a while, his face would light up and he'd just reach out his giant arms and give you this big giant hug, and it's just the best hug ever.
He was really compassionate about what was going on in your life. He'd ask you what was going on. It's not like, a lot of people like to talk about themselves, but Andrew wanted to listen and hear about what was going on with you.
If I could talk to him, I'd tell him that I love him and I miss him, and I don't understand what happened, but it was his decision, and I stand by him. But we sure do miss him, and I sure wish he didn't do that, because I think it's you know, it's not only a personal loss to us, but he had so much to give everybody, give to the world. He was talented and very smart.
His hugs, his knowledge of computers, cell phones, cable, laugh, smile, everything. Everything.
One of the things I really miss about Andrew is he'd hug you. Like, there's not a lot of people that just do that, and it's nice to be hugged.
Like, I find myself like watching the moon all the time. I mean, because, you know, that's kind of what his aspirations were, you know, with NASA and all that stuff. And I never thought it, like, and it just never dawned on me until after, you know, after the fact. And now that's like all I see.
This isn't happening, because it was, I don't know, I mean, when I first heard, that was pretty awful.
That he was so amazing, you know, that he had, you know, all this ambition and get-go and drive, and just, you know, you know, see what he did within a 5-year span. What could have he done within a, you know, if he lived a full lifetime.
The whole ordeal with him really helped me get through my depression, and like I looked at him and I thought he had a pretty good life. I thought he was gonna like aerospace engineering, and I thought he was gonna really make a difference in life, and that happening to him really caused me to reevaluate my life and what was important to me and things like that. And I wish that he would be around so I could say like, hey, I changed for you.
For the longest time, I used to think like, because like obviously there was no note, like I didn't get a text, I didn't have a voicemail, I didn't have anything, like all I heard was that it happened, like through the grapevine. I used to think like the longest time, like months, I used to think like they're gonna go through his stuff, they're gonna find a letter that he wrote me, like they're gonna find like something, and it's gonna say like, give to Raymond, and then I'll read it, and it'll just explain everything, and I'll be able to just feel so much better. Like he'll tell me like he's sorry, he'll tell me all this stuff, and I mean that helped for the longest time, because I was like, I know it's gonna happen. Like I was 100% convinced. I was like, it'll come in the mail, like it's lost in the mail, like maybe it's like it was typed on his computer and they just have to find it, or like it was like under his pillow, or like it was somewhere in his room and they just haven't found it. And God, I thought for the longest time I was gonna get like some kind of like closure on the whole thing, and I don't know, still haven't obviously, but we had some talk about like, I don't know, like God's influence on you, like through your friends basically. And I was like, wow, like that's Buj for me. Like he's like changed my life so much, and like we could share like our reactions. So like I went up and I think he was there, because I went up and I was like the whole time during this talk, like I just thought about like my like friendship with Buj. Like he's like my best friend, like he's the big brother I never had. Like he was always there to tell me like, you're being an idiot, like don't do this, you're being so stupid. Like he always told me like, this is how you should do this, like this is how you should do, like he guided me in everything.